life that you go, what are you talking about? Let me introduce you to Jimmy Andrell. He's 40, and his wife, Bianca Andrell, who's 35. They are business owners, small business owners. They own a marijuana bus. That's right. They call it the cannabis. And they drive this around to different areas and sell illegal marijuana. Make no mistake, they have legal hemp in this bus as well, but they sell illegal marijuana. I'm so proud of our community. We had a concerned citizen come to us and go, hey, these folks aren't selling legal marijuana alone or hemp alone, but they're selling illegal marijuana. Well, let me take you back a few years. At that point in time, there was this big push on the industry of cannabis spent millions and millions of dollars convincing the people of the state of Florida this was medical marijuana only for the very sickest. So the people of the state of Florida passed medical marijuana, believing it was only for the very sickest. I said at that time, I work for the people. You change the law, we'll follow the law. But make no mistake about this. This has nothing to do with medical marijuana for the very sickest. This is an ongoing process to desensitize the people of the state of Florida to recreational use of marijuana. I said then that you would find a lot of unintended consequences, and that you would find that after there was medical marijuana for a while, then the marijuana industry would then push for a legal or recreational marijuana. The reality of it is marijuana is not healthy. It's dangerous. And there's mountains of evidence to show that. And now we have not only empirical evidence, but we have anecdotal evidence all over Colorado and California. But that's okay. They voted for it. It was legal. So these guys do something like this. And they think or tried to convince us this was all right. Here's their social advertising. We will come to you. No medical marijuana card necessary. In fact, they advertise online that we're the first recreational dispensary of cannabis. And that's not legal. It's clearly illegal, but it didn't bother them at all. This is some of those unintended consequences that I warned the people about several years ago. So interestingly enough, they even have their legendary Buds 420, and April 20th is a cannabis smoke celebration day. So they advertise this, and I asked my deputies and detectives, did you see one sick person, one senior citizen with ailments that came up to the marijuana bus, to the cannabis? And they said, nope, no sick people at all. So then I said, well, tell me about these owners. This guy has got 102 previous criminal charges, and he's been to prison 4 times. He's had 51 felonies, 51 misdemeanors, burglaries, fraud, VOP, resisting, theft. Now I want you to think about this. Does this guy resemble where you would go get medicine, medical marijuana medicine for your grandma? I don't think you'd show up at his cannabis for that. Or his wife, Bianca, she only has 2 previous felonies and 5 previous misdemeanor charges. Did I mention to you that the scale that they weigh the marijuana out on, or the legal hemp, because they had some legal products there, had cocaine residue on the scale. So they had cocaine as well as illegal marijuana, but the front was that this was medical marijuana and legal hemp. And the illegal marijuana was underneath the counter. I want you to think about this a minute. They were charging ridiculous prices, 3.5 grams or an eighth of marijuana, $50. Now, if you wanted a blunt dipped in THC resin, so it'd be even more powerful, it's $75 and up. Ladies and gentlemen, they did not even try. They advertised on the bus. They can't spell well, no problem, no marijuana card. They weren't even trying to follow the law, nor were they following the law at all. You know, today's National Joke Day, and Confucius said, "He who smokes weed on the toilet is high on pot." Well, this is no joke. This is an abuse of what the people of the state of Florida intended to be medical marijuana for the very sickest. Now, let me tell you something that just shocks me. We have patrol cars there. We have an investigation underway. 4 people show up, walk around the marked patrol cars, and say, I'd like to buy some. With us there, with us standing there. You know, you should not buy marijuana from a cannabis because it's illegal and it'll get you arrested. Just ask these owners who paid absolutely no attention to the law. Now, Daniel, he's just an employee. He only had 28 criminal charges, 16 misdemeanors, 12 felonies. He's been to prison once. Jimmy's been to prison 4 times. But keep in mind that he who smokes weed on the toilet is high on pot. It's all a fraud. They're taking advantage of the people of the state of Florida. And this is the unintended consequences. Now, think about it. You see food trucks all over your community. Now you're seeing cannabuses all over the community. Do we want to see that? I can tell you not in Polk County. And they made a mistake. They crossed over the county line from Osceola and Orange, where they have Disney and crime hills known as Pine Hills, and crime amok into Polk County, and that's when they went to jail. Keep your stuff on the other side of the county line unless you want to be cannabusted. You come here with a cannabis, you're cannabusted, and you get a free ride to the county jail. Are there any questions?
Sheriff, how long has this been in operation? Maybe driving around the bus?
Well, they just brought it into the county. And one of our citizens, the thing that I love about this community, if people see something or hear something, they say something. And they immediately reported this to our Northeast District. And we began the investigation.
So prior to your investigation, do you know how long?
They had just arrived. They just were driving it around. So it was pretty quickly that someone reported it to us. And they were just barely inside the county line. They thought, well, if I just get over next to this shopping area, and it's just barely that Lake County, Orange County, Polk County, Osceola intersect, all up at the 4 corners. And they thought we wouldn't notice. Newsflash, we did.
They're not exactly subtle, right?
Well, these folks are not going to be up for any awards for brilliance. But they were running a good scam. But I warn everybody, don't do it. It's against the law. They didn't even act like they were trying to comply with the law. They didn't even have the legal medical marijuana state rules. And that's what I try to point out to people. These criminals that are going to run these scams and that are running these scams, they don't comply with the law. They didn't comply with the medical marijuana laws. They even advertised. And the one guy, he even said, hey, that cannabis $5 medical marijuana card, that's just so we can scam the customers for $5 extra. That's what he thinks of his customers. Well, they went to jail, and now they're out. But we have their cannabis.
Did they say anything to detectives?
Well, they threatened the detectives when they were being booked in the booking process. They threatened them with violence. So they're not really nice business owners either, as well as illegal business owners. But they try to convince us this was legal. They advertise, we'll bring the marijuana to you. First, recreational marijuana in Florida. It hasn't passed yet. And it'll be up to the people of the state of Florida whether they want to see this in a neighborhood with their children. And I'll guarantee you, if you pass recreational marijuana, you'll see these like you see convenience stores. And that's the choice the people of the state of Florida will make.
Where do they get the marijuana from?
They wouldn't tell us. Isn't that interesting? But they had it under the counter, so you could buy the legal hemp. Now, the hemp is legal, but it's not legal for them to sell it under the marijuana rules. So anything that you could buy at a convenience store, they could legally sell. But that was their ruse. That was the ruse. That's not what they were there for. They were there to sell marijuana illegally. Yes, sir.
They have a 407 area code, so I guess they're driving around Orlando, and they hadn't busted in Orlando?
Well, I don't know why Orlando or Orange County or Osceola County had not come up on them yet. Supposedly, there's another cannabis someplace. And I really hope they bring it to Polk County, because I'd like to have 2 cannabises. And I will, just as soon as they drive it here and try to sell marijuana out of it. If one's good, 2's better. Okay? Y'all have a great weekend. Remember, it's National Joke Day, and this is no joke. Anything else? See y'all.